A violent start to the weekend for a Northwest Side neighborhood ends with one person shot. Coming up, what family and neighbors say happened and how many other crimes were committed in the neighborhood in just one day. And a deadly virus sweeps through the city's animal shelter. How rescue groups are trying to save the dozens of cats exposed.
And it is a quiet start across central Indiana. We'll see a nice rebound later on this afternoon. Even warmer yet for Monday. I'll have the details.
From Indiana's news leader, Eyewitness News Weekend Sunrise starts now.
Good morning. We hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. Welcome to our 9 o'clock hour of Weekend Sunrise. I'm Naomi Peskovitz here with Kelly Green. If you got outside yesterday, great. You're going to want to do it again today.
Absolutely. There were so many great opportunities yesterday. Better yet today as well. And we are just going to enjoy another bright sunny day. Tomorrow will be wonderful too. But right now we are starting off a little cool. Taking a look from our Connorsville cam. A few clouds around. But we are going to enjoy a lot of sunshine today as high pressure dominates central Indiana. Check out our HD sky cam. A lot of blue sky. Temperature down to 43 degrees. Wind starting to turn out of the west-southwest at 5 miles per hour. And it is going to be a fantastic afternoon. Again, high pressure really dominating all of the Midwest at this point. We do have another system that will start to push in on Monday evening. But in the meantime, we are going to be in a quiet pattern. In fact, if you are watching the Colts game this afternoon with that 4:25 kickoff, that is an open stadium, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Just some great football weather with temperatures during the 3 o'clock hour, 61, 59 during the 5 o'clock hour, and 54 at 7 p.m. This afternoon here at home, just fantastic. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures will be climbing to 70 degrees, and we'll see temperatures around 65 at 6 p.m. Warmer yet for tomorrow. I'll have those details coming up in your SkyTrack 13 forecast.
New on Weekend Sunrise, we've learned a suspected intoxicated driver drove into a squad car. This happening in Noblesville. It happened just after midnight in the 12,000 block of East 141st Street. The police officer was not in his car at the time, but another officer was sitting in his police car. He says the driver almost hit his car too, but swerved just in time. The driver, 37-year-old Francisco Velez, has been preliminarily charged with 2 counts of OWI. His 2 passengers were taken to IU Health Methodist Hospital, but their injuries are non-life-threatening this morning. More than 50 cats are set to be euthanized at Indianapolis Animal Care and Control after they were exposed to a deadly virus. Sunrise reporter Matt McCutcheon joins us live there now with that story. Matt, good morning.
Naomi, good morning. It's called pancocholemia, and right now Animal Care and Control officials are awaiting word if a couple of different animal rescue groups will be able to take in those cats in question. Otherwise, coming tomorrow morning, they will have to be put down. Now, this has been inside the clinic here for a couple of weeks now, and there's been a thorough cleaning here underway. The shelter has already had to put down 20 cats diagnosed with the deadly and highly contagious virus, but more than 50 cats are facing the same fate if area rescues don't step in to foster them. Rescue groups have already saved dozens, removing them from the shelter so they can be isolated until a 2-week incubation period passes.
Of course, no one wants to euthanize anything. I mean, that is not what we're here for, but we have to do what's best for all, not just a few.
Well, Care and Control can't let the general public in to foster some of these cats as they risk spreading the virus that way. The shelter asks that you not bring cats here for surrender for 2 weeks until they can get everything cleaned up inside. If you do bring a cat here during that time, they say they'll be forced to put it down because they can't have any more exposed to the virus. This all comes while the shelter is still searching for a director. A search has been underway now for several months. Reporting live, Matt McCutcheon, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
Matt, thank you so much for that report. A lot of people hoping those cats do find homes soon. Thank you. Well, residents in a Northwest Side neighborhood are questioning their safety this morning after a violent home invasion. There were at least 4 break-ins Friday in the area just south of 38th Street and High School Road. The latest incident ended with a shooting. That happened Friday night in the 3400 block of Ashway Drive. The homeowner's wife and her baby were inside when they heard a knock at the door.
She waited for a few minutes, then she decided to come over and open the door. Nobody was there. Then right behind her, she heard this noise. It was a big piece of block on the back, the kitchen. They broke the back door.
Moments later, Fernando Heredia and his teenage daughter arrived home. He was shot in the shoulder as the teen tried to fight off one of the suspects, but both intruders got away. Heredia is now in fair condition at the hospital. So far, no arrests in that case. Well, 4 teens are still in the hospital this morning after a school shooting in Marysville, Washington. Witnesses say Jalen Freiberg took a gun into the school cafeteria on Friday. 1 student was killed, 4 others wounded before Freiberg shot himself. 2 of the victims in the hospital are Freiberg's cousins. Students say Freiberg was a popular freshman, recently named to the homecoming court. Police sources told NBC News he may have been upset about a romantic relationship. This weekend, students returned to school to get the items they left behind. Many also left flowers and notes at a growing memorial outside. Well, the tragedy in Washington state is giving new importance to a training exercise held yesterday in Lawrence. 600 emergency responders from local, state, and federal agencies took part in an active shooter drill. The scenario started with a possible explosion inside the cafeteria of the Major General Bean Federal Building. It then turned into an active shooter situation with hostages. The goal is to test each individual department's response, but also their ability to work together to keep people safe during a crisis.
Public safety is number one, protecting people who may be victims of an incident like this, and then saving and rescuing lives. That's really what we're ultimately all about. And to get all of the assets together from all of the various public safety entities and non-governmental entities, it can't be replaced. It's invaluable.
Well, all of the agencies involved plan to discuss lessons learned from this drill and whether any changes need to be made to improve their response. An Indianapolis businessman will spend 7 years in prison for defrauding investors through a fake credit union. A judge sentenced Timothy Coughlin and ordered him to pay more than $10 million in restitution to his victims. Investigators say Coughlin impersonated an IRS official while running a fake credit union called Oxford International. Thousands of investors around the world lost money after making investments online with the promise of high returns. And switching gears now to the weather, Kelly Green here with only the best news for you on your Sunday. It's great.
Yes, it is going to be another awesome autumn day. I'll have all those details coming up in minutes. But right now we're starting off a little chilly at 45 in Frankton, 45 in Newcastle, 44 in Nineveh, and 43 degrees in Bloomington. I'll let you know how warm it'll get today coming up.
Plus, the Colts are ready to take on the Steelers tonight. We have game day analysis from our Eyewitness Sports crews from Pittsburgh. And only 1 week left to enjoy the Terra Cotta Warriors at the Children's Museum. Coming up, why it would be worth your while to make that trip. Well, the Colts are on the road this morning, ready to take on the Steelers. Our Eyewitness Sports team is in Pittsburgh with more on today's matchup.
Good morning, Colts fans. Crews behind us working on Heinz Field just across the Allegheny River, getting ready for this afternoon's big game between the Colts and the Pittsburgh Steelers. WTHR.com columnist Bob Kravitz joining me here in Pittsburgh. Bob, a big game between two AFC contenders, really, when you look at both these franchises.
Now, if the Colts want to be thought of as elite, they need to win games like this. Pittsburgh has been very uneven defensively. They're not the Steelers of they're not your father's Steelers. Okay, they don't have great linebacking the way they used to. They don't have a great secondary. So if the Colts want to win this game, big thing is don't turn it over.
The Colts have struggled with turnovers. We talked to Ahmad Bradshaw, Dwayne Allen this week. They said they have continued to shoot themselves in the foot, but the Colts have been able to best that in the last 5-game win streak. Can they get 6 here on the road, and how key will it be for their offense to get out and perform like they've been doing, but more importantly, defense get to Ben Roethlisberger?
Well, the big thing, you know, when you get to Ben Roethlisberger, you got to wrap him up and take him down because he extends plays better than just about anybody in football and really in football history. The big thing is taking advantage of their linebackers. They have a very weak linebacking core. They're not very good in the secondary. I think Andrew Luck has a huge game, and I think the Colts win this game by 10 to 13 points.
Heard it right here, Bob Kravitz. Colts winning 10 to 13 points, and more importantly, that win streak would then go to 6 games in a row. Bob and I will be here in the Steel City and have a full recap of highlights and reaction on the Sports Jam. For now, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I'm Jason Spells. We'll send it back to you.
All right, guys, thank you. Well, we're not even 2 months removed from this year's Indiana State Fair, and we're already looking forward to next year's. Tomorrow, there will be a special announcement about the 2015 fair. That announcement will happen at 10 a.m. at the Dow Agro-Sciences Celebration Park. The Indiana State Fair Commission will be there along with our Lieutenant Governor. Hard to imagine that we're already talking State Fair, but that's how it goes. It takes them so long to get ready for it to make it as fantastic as all of us know it is. Well, today won't feel like State Fair weather, but it will feel real nice.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so pleasant once again today. A lot of sunshine on tap. Temperatures a little bit on the cool side. You'll need to grab the jacket before you head out this morning. It's still 37 degrees in Lafayette, 41 in Kokomo, 39 in Marion, 38 in Richmond, and it's 43 degrees in Bloomington. And check out all this beautiful sunshine across our HD sky cam. Just a great start this morning. 43 is the current air temperature, and winds are now starting to pick up out of the west-southwest at 5 miles per hour. Here's a look at our WeatherBug network in Greenfield. A lot of blue sky here, and also taking a look at our Brown County WeatherBug cam. Just a lot of brilliant colors here. Another great day to enjoy all the fall foliage all across central Indiana because it's just going to be unseasonably warm again today and again tomorrow too. We are tracking some showers, and we are also going to be looking at that cool and breezy Halloween forecast. If you recall last year, we actually had severe weather where many communities ended up canceling or postponing their Halloween festivities. And yeah, last year at this time, we had record rainfall for October 31st at the Indianapolis airport, over 2 inches of rain and severe winds, 58 miles per hour. We're not tracking that, thank goodness. Should be a pretty quiet but cool and breezy Halloween. I'll get to that in just a moment, but let's just take in all this sunshine. I love it. It's going to be a great day. Temperatures climbing to 70 degrees. A mild overnight tonight, too, with temperatures starting in those low 70s and upper 60s all across central Indiana. Temperatures will only fall to 56 degrees. Mild overnight. Breezes will be out of the south from 3 to 6 miles per hour. Now, during the day tomorrow, we do have a warm front that will allow some of those southerly breezes to kick in. Temperatures will climb into the mid to upper 70s, and it's just going to be a fantastic start of the work week. We'll see a high near 77 degrees in Indianapolis, just unseasonably warm for this time of year. Mostly sunny skies, and then, of course, we are tracking some changes. Let's take a look here at Future Track 13, starting the timeline at 7 p.m. We have a cold front that will move in a little closer, so the clouds will start to thicken up during the overnight hours into early Tuesday. So you'll want to check back with Chuck on sunrise, because I do think we will see some scattered showers beginning to cross that Indiana border sometime during that 6 o'clock hour, and then they'll continue to move across the area. Not talking about any kind of heavy rainfall, but still could be a nuisance throughout the day on Tuesday. As we head into the afternoon, cooler, drier air begins to move in, and then we'll start to see a gradual clearing. But we are going to see quite a difference in our temperatures. We start off the work week with a high of 77 degrees. By midweek, high 58, and by Saturday, only climbing to 48 degrees. So really a big change in our temperature. So let's just take in today. 70 degrees for this afternoon, 77 on Monday. Some scattered showers will be likely on Tuesday, high of 65. Then cooler, drier air moves in on Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, we might see a sprinkle or two, but really it's just going to be much cooler and pretty breezy too, with a high of only 50 degrees. And then by Friday night, temperatures tumble into the low to mid 30s with a high of only 48 degrees Saturday afternoon.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Well, did you know you can find a piece of ancient Chinese history right here in Indianapolis, or right here in the studio, actually? Well, you can. It's at the Children's Museum, but you only have 1 week left. You know it. We're talking about the Terra Cotta Warrior. So cool. And to give us some perspective is Aaron Bonds from the Children's Museum. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And you're also dressed today as a German archaeologist, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Explain why that's an important part of this history.
Well, the coolest part about the Terra Cotta Warriors that we're able to bring to Indianapolis is that we're unlocking the secrets of the paint. These warriors were painted a long time ago, and so there was some special scientists in Germany that actually helped figure out how to unlock the paint from these ancient Chinese treasures.
So cool. And explain this guy's outfit to us.
Well, this is our Terra Cotta Warrior. This is something that we do. We have a Terra Cotta Warrior Awaken show in our sort of atrium area at the Children's Museum, where you can actually see a Terra Cotta Warrior come to life. And so that's what we have here today.
All right.
We brought him so you can sort of take a look at him today.
It's very realistic. I know you guys are getting a good shot of this, but here in person it is very realistic. Share with us how the Children's Museum was able to get this incredible exhibit and why really it is so cool. People need to go see it.
Well, we are so lucky to have leadership at the museum that works really hard to bring the biggest and best things that we can bring to our Indianapolis community. And so we had people that worked really hard with people in China to actually be able to get these wonderful artifacts coming here. That's right, Angel. To bring them here. You know, we're always focusing on changing and trying to be the biggest and the best for the Indianapolis community. And so being able to see these one-of-a-kind artifacts that you probably won't be able to see anyplace else in the world this year is just really something that we're really excited about.
Yeah, such a good point there that you can't see these anywhere else this year at all.
No.
And they're right here.
The Children's Museum.
They're right here in Indianapolis. So how's the turnout been so far?
Oh, it's been great. We've had so many wonderful school groups, so many Indianapolis visitors that have come to see it. And so that's why we're here today, because we are down to our last week of having Terra Cotta Warriors here. And so we wanted to extend and let everyone know that if they wanted to see this awesome collection of artifacts, that they have one more week to do it.
What do people need to know? Maybe they're planning on going today. Anything they need to know about an admission fee, parking?
Yes, well, we have an admission fee. There is an admission fee for the Terra Cotta Warriors itself. We have wonderful parking. The best thing to do would be to go to our website, which is childrensmuseum.org. That has all of our pricing, all of our things about hours and admission and what you're going to need to be able to get to the museum to see this wonderful exhibit.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you coming in. I'm wondering if I could borrow this. Will you let me hold it?
I think.
Got it. Okay. How do I look? Thank you. All right. Well, thank you both so much for coming in again. Just 1 week left to see this really great exhibit. Let him break loose a little bit there. All right, well, coming up, we do have some new information about a man accused of killing 2 deputies in California. Coming up, we'll unveil more about his criminal background. Also, Ebola quarantine, the latest on the state-mandated isolation of 2 women who show no symptoms of the virus.
I'm Gary Dick. The Interstate 69 extension, it has been the subject of debate and controversy for decades in Indiana. A major meeting this week in Bloomington with hundreds of public and private sector officials. Much of the conversation focused on funding those last legs of the interstate, in particular between Martinsville and Indianapolis.
Well, we feel very confident. I think there's a commitment at all levels, both from the public and private sector at the state level and even the federal level, to find ways to fund that last leg and find the right route to connect to Indianapolis. But we're really excited about the fact that the Phase 4 is nearing, it's about a year from completing, which comes to Bloomington, and then Phase 5, which, as you mentioned, will go farther north, and that's been funded to Martinsville, Indiana.
We'll have much more on I-69 and the potential impact, the future of that interstate. Plus, an initiative is underway statewide to get more Hoosiers to drink more local beer. We'll have details on those stories and a lot more coming up this morning at 11 right here on Channel 13.
A preliminary test shows a healthcare worker in quarantine in New Jersey does not have Ebola. The unidentified woman had treated Ebola patients in West Africa. Upon returning to the U.S., she did not have symptoms of the virus, but later developed a fever. Although it seems to have subsided, she is still quarantined at Newark Hospital for at least 21 days under a new state policy. New York, New Jersey, and Illinois now require anyone who has had direct contact with Ebola patients to remain in quarantine for up to 3 weeks. The fiancé of a New York City doctor battling Ebola is also in quarantine this morning. Police officers and employees of the city's health department escorted the woman into her apartment building. Her fiancé, Dr. Craig Spencer, contracted Ebola while working with Doctors Without Borders in Guinea. He tested positive for the virus earlier this week and is being treated at Manhattan's Bellevue Hospital Center. His fiancée was released from the hospital last night and is symptom-free. Still, though, she will be confined to the apartment for 21 days. Two friends of Dr. Spencer will also stay quarantined until November 14th. The man accused of killing two Northern California sheriff's deputies Friday was deported twice from the U.S. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials say Marcelo Marquez was sent back to Mexico in 1997 and again in 2001. Marquez was deported following a conviction in Arizona in 1997 on charges of possession of narcotics for sale. He was then arrested a second time in 2001. Marquez led police on a 6-hour chase that ended in Sacramento County. Both suspects are being held without bail and face multiple felony counts, including murder, attempted murder, and carjacking. Canada continues to mourn the loss of a soldier fatally shot in the capital on Wednesday. Hundreds gathered at the National War Memorial in Ottawa last night to honor Corporal Nathan Cirillo with a candlelight vigil. The memorial was at the scene of a shooting Wednesday that took Cirillo's life and brought the nation to a standstill. He was standing guard when the alleged gunman, Michael Zihab Bibeau, opened fire. Bibeau then ran into Parliament Hill, where he died in a shootout with police. Corporal Cirillo's funeral will take place on Tuesday. Well, a cleanup campaign spearheaded by a convicted felon. Still ahead on Weekend Sunrise, how the ex-con is turning his life around by giving back to the place he once called home.
And it is a cool fall start this morning. Temperatures in the upper 40s in many locations across our WeatherBug network, but a fantastic fall rebound. I'll have the details coming up on Weekend Sunrise.
A fatal car crash leaves one person dead in Vigo County. Why officers are having a hard time identifying the victim. A cleanup campaign spearheaded by a convicted felon. How the ex-con is turning his life around by giving back to the place he once called home.
And it is a cool but dry start across central Indiana. Another beautiful fall day in store. I'll have the details.
From Indiana's news leader, Eyewitness News Weekend Sunrise starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to Weekend Sunrise. It's now 9:30 on your Sunday morning. I'm Naomi Peskovitz here with Kelly Green, and we have just been elated all morning long to talk about the weather because it's beautiful.
Yes, and unseasonably nice for this time of year. And we are, of course, going to see that temperature swing again by the end of the week, but you got to get out and enjoy it today. Just beautiful conditions all across central Indiana. Here's a look from our Noblesville High School weather bug cam. Look at all that beautiful fall color. I love it. What a great day to get out and enjoy all of this beautiful color all across central Indiana. Here's our Moores Reservoir Cicero camera. Another great shot there as well. So just a great day for enjoying any of those fall festival events that you'd like to take in today. Blue sky across our HD sky cam, sunny skies, winds out of the west-southwest at 5 miles per hour, the air temperature at 43 degrees, and temperatures will rebound pretty quickly today, but we still just have a very quiet pattern in place. High pressure helping bring in some of those northerly breezes this morning, but not a lot going on all across the Midwest. And the Colts game going on today in Pittsburgh. That is an open air stadium, Heinz Stadium, and kickoff is at 4:25 today, and temperatures will be around 59 degrees during that 5 o'clock hour, down to 54 at 7 p.m. Just a great afternoon in Pittsburgh for some football. Go Colts. Back here at home, just a great afternoon. High of 70 degrees. Temperatures will be down to around 65 during the 6 o'clock hour. Warmer yet for tomorrow, but of course we are talking about cooler temperatures. I'll have that coming up in your SkyTrack 13 forecast. Naomi?
Kelly, thank you. Police in Madison County are investigating an accident involving a sheriff's deputy and a van full of teenagers. They say the deputy struck the van when the teen driver went through a stop sign near County Road 100 West and County Road 500 South. The crash sent the police vehicle off the road, but the van sped away. Eventually, all 4 teens abandoned it and ran off. Police later found them, though, and they admitted to drinking, although they tested negative for alcohol. A drunk driving crash in Vigo County leaves 1 dead and sends 2 others to the hospital. Police could not immediately identify the victim, though, in the crash because both the driver and the passenger had IDs with different names but the same photo. We now know it was Fernanda Martinez who died after the crash. The collision happened yesterday on US 40 at Miami Gardens Road. Police say a van crossed the center line and hit a Mustang head-on. The driver and passenger of the van ran away from the scene. The driver of the van is now facing several charges, including OWI, resulting in death. A child abducted from Ohio has been found safely in Brownsburg. An Amber Alert issued yesterday says 3-year-old Chloe Grace Bannister was taken from her home in Huber Heights, Ohio. State Highway Patrol reports her non-custodial father took her from Montgomery County yesterday just before 6 p.m. This was all despite a protection order filed against him. Police report he also has violent tendencies and was charged with attempted murder in the past. Well, police are investigating the apparent suicide of an inmate at the Delaware County Jail. Corrections officers found Ashley Myers hanging Friday inside a holding cell. Doctors later pronounced him dead at the hospital. Myers had just been arrested that day on warrants from a child support case. Detectives right now don't know what he used to hang himself or how long he'd been alone before he died. An Indiana teenager is dead this morning after police say his neighbor shot him 9 times. Witnesses told investigators the Gary man was upset Friday after discovering his home had been burglarized. He grew even more angry when his 13-year-old neighbor laughed at him. The victim's father, who lives here in Indianapolis, says the confrontation should not have led to his son's murder.
He was a outgoing, sports playing young man.
Very funny.
Very
made
funny.
Everybody laugh. The death of a child is horrible, but nobody plans to bury their child at 13 years old.
Well, police arrested the neighbor and his girlfriend. Charges, though, this morning are still pending. Teams of volunteers tackled a major cleanup effort this weekend in neighborhoods near Washington Park. The idea is to better people's lives by bettering their surroundings. But as Sunrise reporter Jenny Renovich tells us, even more impressive is the man behind this mission, an ex-con now wanting to give back.
When Leonard Owens came home to the Martindale Brightwood neighborhood,
I lived in this house for 16 years.
he didn't like what he saw.
Why our yards have to be raggedy and our houses have to be boarded up.
Blight had built up over the 9 years he'd been away, the 9 years Owens spent behind bars.
I was preparing myself the whole time I was in prison for something like this.
So the ex-offender, who's now changed his life, wanted to change his old neighborhood too.
Do we have anybody with shovels?
With help from his parole officer, Owens launched a cleanup campaign. He got dozens of volunteers to join in, reformed criminals, residents, parole officers, and their kids.
Cutting yards, changing gutters, building ramps, and giving back to the community. It's important because we don't have to live like this. As people, you know, even though we call poverty poverty, you know, it's the choices we make and how we want to live.
That for me is the ultimate goal, to show people that there's hope, that you can come back to your community, that you can clean up your neighborhood.
It's true that one person can make a difference. Leonard Owens did it. He mobilized all of this despite his past, intent on shaping a brighter future.
I feel real blessed, and I feel like I put myself in a position and met some better people, you know, to help me stay on the right road at the same time as I'm trying to get somebody else on the right road.
Jenny Renovich, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
Jenny, thank you. And because of Owen's work and dedication on this project, at the end of yesterday's event, he was offered a job at a landscaping company. Pretty cool and really inspiring to see a story like that one on our Sunday here. A wonderful, beautiful, fantastic Sunday. How many words can we think of? It's great.
It is. It's going to be another beautiful day today. Starting off a little cool at 50 degrees in Greenfield, 48 in Plainfield, 50 degrees in Crawfordsville. Let you know how warm it gets today. Even warmer yet tomorrow before the temperature swings the other direction.
And just more than a week left until Election Day. Coming up on Indiana Insiders, we're taking a look at some of the local races, a big deadline that came and went for the state, and the governor's recent campaign trips around the country. Stay with us.
Good morning. The election season sidetracked by two issues. One, the Ebola virus reaches New York City. Do we really need to quarantine health workers returning from West Africa? And is it time for a travel ban from all of those affected countries? The second big story, the homegrown terror threat, a lone wolf attack on Canada's parliament, that brutal hatchet attack on police officers in New York. Is the threat from Islamist extremists increasing? Also meaning the voters, my report from the road, Midwest road trip, and exclusive new poll numbers showing the race to control the Senate is on a knife's edge. That's all coming up on Meet the Press.
Welcome back. It is the end of October, but it feels a little bit more like maybe early fall. And we're loving this because guess what? The end of the week comes, Halloween comes. Boop, right back down.
It's that normal temperature swing we see in the month of October where we had 70s yesterday, and temperatures will climb close to 70 degrees in many locations. Other locations will actually climb into the low 70s today, but it is a little bit cool right now. 43 degrees in Indianapolis, 43 in Bloomington, still 37 in Lafayette, 44 in Marion, and 46 degrees in Greensburg. Check out this brilliant sunshine. Just a great start all across central Indiana. Currently 43 degrees. We do have breezes out of the west-southwest at 5 miles per hour. And what's ahead? Well, we are going to see an unseasonably warm day today. Showers are going to be moving in on Tuesday. And we're also still tracking a cool and breezy Halloween. Not going to be nearly as soggy as last year's soggy Halloween, that is, where we had over 2 inches of rain. Here's a look from our Westfield camera. Just a brilliant day there as well. A lot of sunshine, and you can see those fall colors popping through. Also from our Sharpsville camera, stepping out of the scene here, just a beautiful shot here too. A lot of blue sky. So central Indiana going to enjoy another beautiful day, a great finish to our weekend with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures climbing to 70 degrees this afternoon with those breezes starting to pick up out of the west-southwest. Highs top out around 67 in Lafayette today, 65 in Peru, 68 in Marion, and we'll also see a high of 72 degrees in North Vernon. Temperatures tonight will fall to 56 degrees, very mild for this time of year. During the day tomorrow, a warm front will lift through. Winds will start to pick up out of the south. Will be a little bit breezy at times, but those temperatures will respond nicely, climbing into the mid to upper 70s by tomorrow afternoon. So just a fantastic day, and we'll see a high of 77 degrees in Indianapolis with sunny skies, and that noon temperature around 70 degrees. Now we are tracking some changes, of course, and we have a cold front that will start to push in late Monday night. So future track 13 showing some clouds beginning to filter in during the overnight hours, and then as we head into that 6 o'clock hour on Tuesday morning, likely going to start to see some scattered showers, possibly even an isolated thunderstorm. You'll want to check back with Chuck on sunrise Tuesday morning for the latest on this. It will start to trek off to the southeast, and it won't be really heavy rainfall, but nonetheless still a bit of a nuisance, especially if it arrives during the morning drive time. Cooler, drier air moves in behind that cold front, and we'll see a gradual filtering of cooler air as we head towards the end of the work week. Check this out. We'll start off tomorrow with a high of 77 degrees for the afternoon high, 58 by Wednesday. Temperatures will struggle to climb into the upper 40s to near 50 degrees by Saturday. And here's a look at your SkyTrack 13 forecast. High of 70 degrees for today, 77 on Monday. Now we are tracking some scattered showers on Tuesday, possibly an isolated thunderstorm. No severe weather, high of 65. Then cooler, drier air moves in for Wednesday and Thursday. For Halloween, a small chance of a sprinkle or two, but we do have some cool air that will be likely. Breezy winds and this cold dome of air will start to sink into the area. In fact, by early Saturday morning, we'll see temperatures falling into the low to mid 30s, and then temperatures struggle to climb into the upper 40s Saturday afternoon.
Good morning and welcome once again to Indiana Insiders. I'm Kevin Rader. We're a little over a week away from Election Day. We have a governor on the campaign trail in the Northeast, not of Indiana, but the country, and an interesting deadline just passed last Friday. Fortunately, I have Democrat Robin Winston and Republican Peter Rustoven here to help me sort all of this out, gentlemen. Let's start, first of all, with the statewide races. We've got 3 there, Robin. How's that size?
Well, we have 3 great candidates. Beth White running for Secretary of State, Mike Clater running for State Auditor, and Mike Bolden running for State Treasurer. They've been all around the state. In fact, if viewers would see them today, they'd be out in their communities. They're going to be out next weekend. They've run good campaigns, all talking about positive issues.
And Peter?
This is a race. All these races are coming a year where we don't have a president at the top of the ballot. We don't have a governor at the top of the ballot. This is one of those odd even years, if you will, when we don't have U.S. Senator running. So it will probably go on sort of baseline party vote throughout the state, and baseline party vote throughout the state strongly favors the Republicans. Connie Lawson is going to be reelected Secretary of State, and she should. Kelly Mitchell is going to be elected State Treasurer, and she should. And Suzanne Crouch, our Republican candidate for Auditor, is going to be elected. They are all women, and I think, as you've pointed out when we've had prior conversations, it's the first time it's been all women. But you know, Lieutenant Governor Ellspermann is a woman. Lieutenant Lieutenant Governor Skillman before her, and going back to when I was just a pup in legal practice here, Marge O'Loughlin was a statewide Republican elected woman, so it's not like this is some new thing for us.
Turn our attention to the local races, Marion County Sheriff and Prosecutor. Peter, I guess we'll start with you. John Layton, Emmett Carney for Sheriff, Prosecutor Terry Curry and Dwayne Merchant.
This is one where I think that the baseline vote is going to tilt the other way. I think Marion County tilts slightly Democratic now in the demographics. If you are a very strong candidate, as Mayor Ballard has been, you can overcome that. In the past, we've had prosecutorial candidates who have overcome that. Right now, I think barring some issue that really tilts it some way or grabs attention, I think the Republican candidates are doing a good job. But I think it's a tougher road to hoe here in Marion County than it used to be.
Democratic territory.
Well, considering that the voters make the decision on it, we have won very well in Marion County, but we also have outstanding candidates. I mean, Terry Curry's done a good job as prosecutor, and John Layton's done a great job as sheriff. And they're taking that message out. You just don't win in a vacuum. I mean, I'd love to say that, but the fact of the matter is voters are voting for these people because of their experience and the job they're doing.
I think some people are voting based on who the people are. I mean, of course they are, and some pay more attention than others. But I think it's simply true that unless a local race like this grabs the headlines for some reason, some large issue or some issue about a candidate, then it does tend to default to who's got the sort of basic advantage party-wise. Statewide, that is Republican. Marion County used to be Republican, but the demographics has changed, and now it tilts a little Democrat.
Speaking of grabbing headlines, Governor Mike Pence has been on the campaign trail this week in the northeast of the country, stumping for Republicans in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and last but not least, New Hampshire. What do we make of all that, Robin?
Well, he's not in Wisconsin or Illinois, which are pretty close to us, and that's one thing. But, you know, I don't know what the governor's doing. What I do know is he's not in Indiana, and he knows what he's doing, so he'll have to talk about that later. Right now, we're focused on things that matter at the kitchen table here in Indiana, and that's education, job training, and things that matter with Hoosiers every day.
Peter?
I think that, Robin, it's so funny when you go into your faux coy mode.
Right.
Look, the governor is very popular nationally. He is a sought-after speaker by a lot of people. The legislature is not in session. This is the period when you do those things. And I recall Evan Bayh taking a few trips when he was governor, too.
Of course he did.
Is he running for president?
Oh, I don't think he's running for president, and and I don't think you see the polling they do of Republican candidates. Some people mention Pence, but generally he's not in there. And the governor has given no indication that he wants to do anything other than continuing to do the great job he's doing here in Indiana. So, to my knowledge, he's not running for president, but people sure want him speaking for him, which I think is a compliment to the state and to him.
And finally, and this morning, an interesting debate came and went last week. Indiana had the chance to secure up to $80 million over 4 years and opted not to. The governor says he wants to concentrate on the pilot program he piloted through the legislative session on pre-K just last year. We couldn't get the governor on this. He was out of the state, as we just pointed out, but we did catch Superintendent of Public Instruction Glenda Ritz and Indianapolis Mayor Greg Ballard.
Well, keep in mind that when you write a grant for funding, you are submitting your plan. So the plan that we were going to submit is Indiana's way of doing it.
It surprised me, to be frank. I'm not sure what all that was involved, but it surprised me, frankly.
Well, Peter, Indiana's long been a tax donor state. Did we miss an opportunity here to change that?
I think we missed an opportunity that would have come with significant costs. I'm glad we didn't take them. We have a pre-K program in this state because the governor went and personally testified to the legislature last time, reviving a bill that was otherwise dead. This 80 million figure, as you know, is grossly inflated. It is 5 to 20 million a year over 4 years, and they haven't even appropriated more than 1 year. I don't want the feds telling us how to run this program, particularly when we've just started what we're doing.
Rob, I'll give you the last word.
You don't want the feds telling us how to run the program, but we'll take highway money, we'll take money for bridges down on the Louisville, Ohio River Bridge project. We'll take federal money whenever we decide we want to take it. This puts our kids at a competitive disadvantage. They don't get into the world economy, the global economy, to be able to compete. Every study has shown that pre-K, the opportunity to get a leading before you go to school, before you go to kindergarten, levels the playing field. The bottom line about this was we could have leveled the playing field for Hoosier children, both of which we have, and made a difference in the state.
That's in fact all wrong. Head Start is a failure, as every study shows, but that's fine.
We're going back to the Nixon era.
Something tells me we're going to hear more on this issue in the coming months. It's going to have to do it for us on this Sunday before Election Day. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Indiana Insiders. We'll see you again next weekend. For Robin and Peter, I'm Kevin Rader. Have a great week, and go Colts.
Welcome back, 9:55 on your Sunday morning. More than 50 cats are set to be euthanized at Indianapolis Animal Care and Control after they were exposed to a deadly virus. Sunrise reporter Matt McCutcheon joins us there live with this story. Matt, good morning.
Naomi, good morning. It is the hope for Indianapolis Animal Care and Control that a couple of different agencies will be able to come forward and actually help rescue these cats and save them from euthanasia. But as you mentioned, if that's not the case, Monday, we're told, they will have to be put down. Now, this all comes after a result of an illness that's going around here inside. If they don't come through, Animal Care and Control says that by Monday morning, more than 50 cats will have to be put down. It's called panleukopenia. The shelter has already had to put down about 20 cats so far, diagnosed with this deadly and highly contagious virus. But more than 50 cats are facing the same fate if area rescues aren't able to step in and foster them. Rescue groups have already saved dozens, removing them from the shelter so they can be isolated until a 2-week incubation period passes.
So they have more people who can manage those symptoms and watch and see what's going on and do those things than we do.
Animal Care and Control says they can't let the general public in to foster some of these cats as they risk spreading the virus that way. The shelter asks that you not bring cats here for surrender for 2 weeks until they can get everything cleaned up inside. If you do bring a cat here during that time, they say they'll be forced to put it down because they can't have any more exposed to the virus. This all comes while the shelter is still searching for a director, a vacancy that has not been filled for several months. Reporting live at Animal Care and Control, Matt McCutcheon, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Matt, thank you so much for that report. Well, also new on Weekend Sunrise, the Indianapolis Public Library System wants to spend $59 million to upgrade existing branches and also put up new buildings. The plan calls for renovating 5 branches, replacing 4 buildings, and adding new branches in Lawrence and Perry townships. Hopes are that the City County Council will approve a proposal that would authorize borrowing the money through a series of bond issues over the next 6 years. The proposal calls for opening new branches starting in 2016 and then finishing all of that construction by 2020. More than 100 volunteers helped a Near East Side community prepare for winter. Yesterday's blitz, known as Caulk the Town, targeted 37 homes in need of weatherization. Volunteers worked with neighbors to make repairs like weather stripping and caulking before the temperature drops.
We've had several residents who've been...
We know there's more information on that story on our website, too. This event was revived this year after a nearly 2-decade hiatus. Well, 10 Indiana high schools made it to the finals of an elite marching band competition held right here in Indy. High School was the last of 15 finalists to perform last night at Lucas Oil Stadium. And the band was named the Bands of America Super Regional Champion. We have the entire list of results on our website at WTHR.com. And you should spend part of your day outside today. I'm just going to say that. Everyone should at least attempt to get out for a little bit.
Yeah, even if it's to do some yard work. I know my neighbor was out cutting grass yesterday. It is going to be a great day to spend outdoors, and temperatures will be climbing to around 60 degrees during the noon hour. High of 70 degrees this afternoon. A little bit cooler than yesterday's high of 76, but another fantastic fall day. Now tomorrow, winds will be a little bit breezy at times out of the south, allowing temperatures to climb into the mid to upper 70s. So a very warm, unseasonably warm day for tomorrow, and we'll see a high of 77 in Indianapolis. Then as we head into Tuesday, some changes arrive. A cold front pushes in. High of 65. Showers will be likely, and then much cooler as we head into the end of the week, where temperatures struggle to climb into the upper 40s by Saturday.
Just in time for Halloween, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, you're going to want to pack a blanket or a jacket for your kids trick-or-treating. Thanks so much for joining us this Sunday. Have a fantastic day.